Memorial Day weekend, 2024. Two movies are in contention to be number one at the North American box office. Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, and the Garfield movie. Now, as of the writing of this video, both movies are tied to be number one. But whichever one wins Memorial Day weekend will in effect be a zero-sum victory. That's because whichever movie wins Memorial Day weekend will have the worst Memorial Day weekend opening in 3 decades. Not exactly an accomplishment worthy of hanging on the fridge, in my opinion. But if we take a look at the other big movies that are coming out over the summer of 2024, there are 6 sequels that are going to be released. That is Bad Boys Ride or Die, aka Bad Boys 4, Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, Twisters, sequel to the movie Twister, Deadpool and Wolverine, aka Deadpool 3, and Alien Romulus. A prequel, that is A Quiet Place Day Zero, a video game adaptation, that is Eli Roth's Borderlands, a remake of The Crow, and 2 original movies, that would be Horizon and American Saga Chapters 1 and 2. Horizon and American Saga is benefiting from the fact that Kevin Costner is attached to it. I do want to point out that there are several smaller movies also releasing during this time, but as I have brought up before, when Doctor Strange 2 released in AMC Empire 25, that's a New York City theater, there were 70 showings of just Doctor Strange 2 alone on opening day Thursday. So, while smaller movies are releasing, the bigger movies are going to take up more showings because Universal and Disney have more money for more showings of Despicable Me 4 and Deadpool 3 than some smaller indie movie that will be lucky to get 1 theater to themselves and maybe 5 showings a day for opening weekend. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. When I went to see Hacksaw Ridge opening weekend, there were only 5 to 6 showings of that movie compared to Doctor Strange that had nearly the entire AMC theater all to itself. Getting back on topic, the problem that has been plaguing the summer box office for years at this point, this is not exclusive to just the 2024 summer box office, is the fact that it's dominated by sequels, remakes, reboots, or movies based on pre-existing IPs. Yes, Critical Drinker, The Fall Guy was based on a pre-existing IP, you fucking dumbass. It was a TV show in the 1980s that starred Lee Majors, Douglas Barr, and Heather Thomas. I can tell you why the Fall Guy bombed at the box office. Who honestly remembers the original TV show at this point in time? Who thought that a Garfield movie would do well in 2024? I went to go see the live-action Garfield movie, but that came out 20 years ago at this point. It came out in 2004. Who thought that making Furiosa 9 years after the release of Mad Max Fury Road was a good idea? The inevitable problem of only making sequels, reboots, remakes, and movies based on other IP was always going to be that the audience was going to get sick of it at some point. Nostalgia will sell a lot in the short term. Just look at the success of Star Wars Episode 7 or Jurassic World, both from 2015. But what do the Star Wars sequel trilogy and the Jurassic World movies have in common? The audience began to hate each series as the subsequent movies released. Just like the sequel trilogy, the first Jurassic World was beloved, the second one was mixed, and the third one was universally hated. I don't think I need to go into The Last Jedi Backlash or the fact that Rise of Skywalker tried to please everyone and ended up pleasing no one. In each of the following Jurassic World movies, those movies were being marketed as having the old characters return, like Jeff Goldblum in Fallen Kingdom, and Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum in Dominion. I believe Dominion was the third one, along with B.D. Wong in one of them, but I don't remember which one he came back for, if it was Fallen Kingdom or Dominion. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, both the Star Wars sequel trilogy and Jurassic World movies made a lot of money at the box office. There's no denying that. But both series actively harmed their respective franchises in the process. Just because a movie made a lot of money when it released is not indicative of its quality. As Mark Hamill famously said,
in Hollywood, remember, kids, it's not important if it's of high quality, only if it makes money.
So what can save the summer box office? Well, it's rather simple. Stop making disposable entertainment. Do you think that Jaws would have the cultural impact that it's had if it was made to be viewed only once? Do you think Indiana Jones would have the cultural impact that it had if Raiders of the Lost Ark was only made to be viewed once? That's the problem with a lot of these modern franchises and modern blockbusters, is that you watch them once and you never want to watch them again. Modern blockbusters are being made for opening weekend, and that's it. People forget that back in the days when the original Star Wars released in 1977, the big box office numbers usually happen months upon months after the movie initially released, not all at once. Now, most of the money that a movie makes is in one weekend, and that's it. In my prior video about movie budgets are too high, I talked about a Hollywood Reporter article entitled, "Where Have the $100 Million Box Office Openings Gone?" In that article, there was the usual talking points about how the writers and actors strikes of 2023 have caused all of this damage, but there was another theory at the end of the article about why the box office is dying. From the Hollywood Reporter article, quote, Comscore chief box office analyst Paul Degarabedian has another theory. The industry has over the years backed itself into a corner with a fixation on the $100 million opening weekend as both a key benchmark for success and as a revenue-based marketing hook that, if not achieved, knocks great films on their heels and deems them financial failures, often unfairly. Studios are now placed in the position of defending their marketing and distribution strategies that, unable to power their big-budget releases, are scrutinized for not achieving this lofty goal. In today's modern theatrical marketplace, the emphasis should shift from the short-term gain to the long-term playability, since this is now a game of yards instead of inches, Degarabedian says, and the analysis of what constitutes a hit or a flop must be reevaluated.